Secularism is occultism because the philosophies of the state are hidden in plain view. The religion of the state is hidden in plain view, and it is a mixture of different hidden ideas. That's what it means to be an occultist, to connect different hidden ideas in comparative mythology and so on, and to apply them into your life. So what we have is something probably more repugnant than theocracy of the church. So let's talk about the solar boat. Okay, solar. Remember, even if I was mistaken about the wordplay, which I assure you I am not, the idea is what matters. Forget the language. The idea is what matters. That's always been my argument. The idea, their definitions are wrong in mental health, how they define things, how they define words in the English language. Keywords like honor and respect and God is wrong. The idea is what matters. So, to breed the lure, so that you lure people onto the boat. This has to do with the current. Keep current and currency. The bank, right? The banks of the river, etc., right? Inflation, right? Inflatable boat. Inflation. The Chi-Rho of Constantine, right? The row your boat. The lure boat. They're luring them into Apep's mouth. Apep is symbolic of chaos. The idea, not the language, is that the spirit of chaos, the energy of chaos, is going to consume the true spirit of God in humanity. Apep will never defeat Ra in reality, right? In the bigger picture, in the spiritual realm. But within the human world, in the physical world, he will consume the spirit. Ra does not per se care if the individual or the group connects to him. Okay? That's up to you. This is your test. If you fail, you fail. Gone. There's plenty of people that succeeded. Plenty of people who aren't cowards and bitches. Anyway, so there's the stream, the energy stream, the inner E. E being evil, gender neutral, emasculated, effeminate. Okay, everybody, regardless if they're good or evil, right? That's wrong. It's evil, right? Everybody can babysit my child, whether you're a pedophile or not, whether you just got done raping a kid or not. It's evil, right? You need to discriminate against evil with the highest moral standard. The weather affecting the boat, right? Whether or not you're an evil scumbag, whether or not you're helping us lure. The shipmate, which goes back to mating, okay? Merrily, merry, L meaning Lord, E, the evil Lord, okay? The devil or a demon. Relationships, right? Going back to shipmate, mating. Birth, okay? The boar as the first part of birth. Set, who is chaos, who's associated with Apep. Incidentally, so is Yah and Min, okay? Seamen, right? Seamen. Port, backwards, trap. Interchangeable vowel, vowel to L. The A replaces the O. Trap, right? The port. Teammate, township, sponsorship, shipping and receiving. Admiral, admiration, admiral, which one? Obviously the evil one. Navy, the knave. E. Birth date, birth rate, birth certificate. Snake eating its tail, it's called the Ouroboros or something, right? It's a symbol of the snake thinks he's smart, but he's actually eating himself. He says, I'm defeating the spirit of Ra, right? He's too clever by half. He's keeping himself from going to, the people are keeping themselves from going to heaven. So when they're helping the snake consume humanity and their children, right? It's like the snake consuming his own children, right? It has to do with eating his tail. How you told the story led to this person shooting himself in the foot. Okay? Finishing off humanity. They're not going to heaven. They've closed the sun gate because you refuse to create an honorable reproductive cycle where worthy women can bring in the children of righteous men in an environment where they won't be harassed, aborted, killed, poisoned, and drugged, which having that environment makes someone like me say, I'm not going to have any kids. Having no worthy women allowed to date them, right? I'm not going to have any kids. Mind, body, soul. Okay? And of course, if you're the top martial artist, if you don't consider mind, body, and soul, you're fucking crazy. And I'm not crazy. They are. They're delusional, they're panicked, they're crazed. That is the default state of mind of somebody who isn't in the martial art order, who's right with God. Why wouldn't you be scared? If you're complicit with evil, why wouldn't you be delusional, panicked, and crazed? Whether you're behaving that way or not, that is your true state of mind. Make no mistake. Basically, what we see is worldly Igbos over time traded goods with other worldly scum because these people didn't truly understand the Igbo culture. It was obscured. And eventually this was the main secret society that revealed African martial art, hidden, closed society culture, right? The leopard society of the Igbos. Okay, so the worldly guys would go out and trade. That way these people had access to the things they need. Where the secret society who believed things in a way that would have pissed off all the other tribes, were able to trade with the worldly Igbos, okay? Who in turn traded with other people and vice versa. So that's why you have within the Igbo structure people who are righteous and a bunch of traitors and bitches and worldly scum and feminists and gays and so on. Within that is the inner circle, the heart of the Igbo culture, the true heart, which is Eri, a Ra. Okay. And of course, when you say that, we talk about the spirit, right? When I say it that way, that is more of the spirit of spearing somebody. Say this was a spear. Rah! Okay? That, my friends, is the truest connection to the Creator. The spirit. Okay? Not the trowel. Oh God. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm putting the mortar on. Yeah, I'm a bitch. I have an apron. Right? That's not the spirit of Ra. Ra uses his divine force to order things, to marshal things. And so it is through sparring. It is the honorable way to apply both eyes of Horus, right? The eye that sees the motion and the eye that sees intensity, the right eye, and the left eye that is more subtle, that conveys in a loving manner to his children, to his wife, the eye that doesn't want to hurt you unnecessarily. They work together creating sparring. Spare it. Spare it. Spare what? Spare the brain. Spare the heart. Spare the body. Spare the spirit. You don't need to beat this person up to put him in line. You just need to show them that you could kill him because you're more in the spirit of Ra to order society. And of course, you need to challenge outside of the pre-existing martial arts systems that we have here. The root of these systems were people that were studying different aspects of the universe. They were never meant to be elevated above Ra and Haru. Even incidentally, even the belly, the lower Tantien, right, is called Hara. Okay. So when you really look at it and read between the lines, you do the wordplay, you extract the true ideas, you put it in its true historical context, and you apply ideas, you extract from a comparative mythology and comparative religions, comparing the different religions and the myths and the system, right? Mythology, mathology, matology, and you understand who, what, when, where, how, why, what are their motivations, where did they learn it from, where did the people who they learned it from, right? Buddhism and Taoism is nothing but a branch of the greater tree of knowledge, okay, and not of life. Life is the divine order being right with God, the true spirit, okay? And I could say Ra, Ka, Ba, Ka, as it's meant to be said, right? Ra, Ka, Ba, my soul, Ka, the spirit conveyed. Now, I'm tempted to say it again, but I probably shouldn't. Basically, in the part of the mythology is Amen usurps Shu's life-giving functions. Again, going back to the Narmer Pout, the sandal bearer. The sandal bearer almost certainly is connected with Shu, the atmosphere. He's part of the atmosphere. He's helping create the atmosphere, right? The center of it, the sun, is Pharaoh. And the people who are helping him create the atmosphere, holding his sandals, doing things like that, bringing him water, or whatever his job description required him to do, okay? And so, eventually, Amen usurps Shu, right? They're forcing Shu to do it a certain way to recreate the atmosphere, which is also the story of Jeb, Nut, and Tefnut, who when Jeb violates his mother or sister, depending on the story, you get, which depends on the period of Egyptian history and who took which cult, conquered which and why, what were their motivations, knowledge and power, lust for sex, and so on. Okay, it scared away Shu. So Shu is basically being pushed around. Okay, he's like this little sandal bearer who's like, do it this way now. He's like, some of them fight to the death, say no, and some of them commit seppuku, and some of them say, okay, we'll do it. Doesn't take a genius to put that together. So he usurps Shu's life-giving function and stirs up none, right? And that's, of course, where we get Kung Fu, Shaolin, Show Line, Shu Line, Shu LN, right? But who is Shu now? He's someone who's subordinate to Set and Amen and Men and so on and so forth. Serapis in Christian culture, right? As we see these conservative Christians Americanizing, whitewashing Eastern arts. It doesn't take a genius, right? Would you make the argument that American Taekwondo is Taekwondo in its pure form? Nor can you make the argument that Taekwondo is martial arts in its pure form, okay? Cults and peoples and groups and religions took these people over and they forced them to do it a different way. It is insane not to see it that way. It is delusional, crazed, and panicked, and not consistent with God. Okay. Of course, even when you look at it, they say, the yang is the universe and not a specific point of creation. Okay, where they talk about the Tao is that creation, and that point is similar to none. It's described as primordial waters, where in some myths, Apep was in the primordial waters a primitive version of Ra. But in reality, Ra is a leopard, so he's better described as a kitten or a lion, something on its way to refining itself naturally, if that is its true direction, okay, that becomes the leopard. Now, if the lion accepts the snake philosophy, he'll never become the leopard. He'll start to transform more into being a snake, and he'll find himself left behind in a world where people who are more snake-like are elevated above him as he's trying to be more like a snake. And so it is with the kitten, the crocodile, etc. Okay, so again, these people were assigned different places in their cults to study things, and when the bad guys took over, okay, when Apep and Set took over, they basically forced these other people to start redefining the system the way they wanted them to. And it's written clearly in this book, right, where they say might is right in Egyptian mythology, and it was designed so that people who were naturally in a martial arts spirit could conquer others. But that is not how it played out. We had the early Horus kings may have been associated with the sky god as rainmakers, but they were also dispensers of discipline or justice. And in the aspect, they could easily be identified with cosmic gods, particularly the sun Ra, whose regular course was symbolic of divine order and justice, personified by the goddess Mayet. Okay, now I don't necessarily agree with that Mayet part. She's someone who came in later, but certainly at some point in history, that in Egyptian history, that's how they described it. And of course, that's why the inside of this book is red for the principles of evil. It's the principles of the woman on her period. The most evil woman on her period embodies evil. Now, so we look at. Here we go. The Horus kings and rainmakers, right? You have the Ra. What was the warrior? Let me look at this again. Hold on. Bear with me. The early followers. It should say here somewhere. Basically, somewhere here it says the early followers. Here we go. The earliest tribal gods may have been fetishes connected with nomadic or warrior peoples, but most of these tribes settled at some stage in prehistory. Okay. Basically, one of the most common tribal fetishes was the falcon. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find that for you elsewhere. They say it in a way that's more straightforward. Right. Yeah, because it says the early followers were warrior people. Not that they may have been. So let me see. Here we go. The gods look somewhat like their early followers, warriors wearing a kilt. Okay, so basically what that may have been, there's more to it than just the warrior part. The warrior part is a given. Okay, the may have been is what the other things they're referring to right there. Okay. To make a long story short, I've covered the solar boat. Let me end with this ark. Okay, the Ark of the Covenant.